To the other point that was mentioned, that costs are still too high, and particularly for those patients who are indigent, who cannot afford the prices that are often required to be charged by those of us in this room in order to simply make ends meet. This will give you an incentive to specialize with those indigent patients. The state has waived the sales tax fees for those patients, as well as all the patient registration fees, and this now gives you an incentive to go over and above what the law dictates, to find a way to serve them better, and in response, to have stable plan counts and stable number of patients who have named you as their primary center. The second big change, and this is certainly something that came up over and over, is the issue of on-site consumption. When you read the bill, House Bill 1284 specifically bans on-site consumption inside any of the licenses outlined by this bill, presumably the Medical Marijuana Center, which is the only real retail entity that exists under this bill. So we know on-site consumption in the dispensary and the Medical Marijuana Center is clearly banned. The bill also says no person may create any business for the purpose of allowing people to congregate and smoke or otherwise inhale product. So Club 420 up in Breckenridge, unfortunately, is out. This does not say if there is a licensed physical therapist or massage therapist who in the course of their normal practice decides that they wish to expand their business by working with patients one-on-one in a BYOBB, bring your own body butter type of a situation. This bill does not directly prohibit this. It does not allow it. It does not say this is allowed. However, it leaves very, very many things that ultimately, I believe when we all look back 5 years, will be instrumental to the growth of this industry and the transition over the next several years. Those things are not defined in this bill. And third, and perhaps most importantly, the final terms put on the infused products license, particularly the ability for an optional premises grow attached to that license, is perhaps the single biggest shift in the economics of marijuana to have ever been proposed by any state. I do not say that lightly. No longer do our edibles manufacturers have to have a certain number of patients who have named them as a primary caregiver in order to have the raw material needed to make their medicines. No longer do our infused products manufacturers have to make a mental trade-off. Do I use this 4 pounds of marijuana to make the right strength of whatever products I need? Maybe it's a lotion that does not absorb well into your body and you need large amounts of raw material. No longer will they have to say, am I better off selling this to a dispensary as smokable bud? Or do I use this to make the quality of product that I need to make? Rather, House Bill 1284 creates an agricultural decision. How much of an agricultural commodity does this infused products licensee to make the medicine that they wish to explore? That is groundbreaking. And in return, as long as you follow the terms of that license, you will have the ability to sell to every single licensed patient in the state by being able to sell directly into every single licensed medical marijuana center in the state. This is enormous. And this, I believe, will be the starting point for the long-term research that we need in order for our country to make serious changes. Now we can make topical oils and lotions, and we can test their strength, and we can have larger and more potent strengths available to see if that makes a difference. We give our dispensary owners the point of sale in the retail chain of medical marijuana an incentive to start studying beyond, you know what, that green crack is amazing, to, you know what, our other fibromyalgia patients have had excellent luck with Northern Lights. This now creates the environment where real research can finally be done 100% outside of the terms of our federal government, and it happens through the industry that we have created. The one thing going back, in the introduction they mentioned how I had found Colorado Cannabis Business Consultants, a very long title for essentially someone who was going to sit in a room and help business owners like yourself a year ago figure out how they would do this right. You'd go visit lawyers like those here on the stage and find out what the laws were, and most importantly, all the things that the law did not cover. And then they would walk into my office and say, I don't know if I can do this. I have kids, I have a family, I have a life. I want to be a responsible business owner, I want to help people, but this is just a little too undefined for my taste. And some of us, most of you in the room, took a bold step before that concrete checklist to open your business and to try it out. And the one phrase I've heard more than anything else is, I just want to do it right. For a phrase that gets used that often, we have no idea what that means. And now with House Bill 1284, we finally have the groundwork so that 6 or 12 months from now, because it will certainly take time in rulemaking, every single one of you will have a checklist that will be available, one from your local government and one from the state of Colorado, that says if you want to do it right, here's the things that you need to check off the list. And this list may be incredibly too long, it may be onerous or more onerous than you'd find in any other industry, but at a bare minimum, we finally have that checklist. And we also have the ear of our legislature. as much as there are things that I absolutely unquestionably believe went too far in this bill, we also have the ear of a legislature who views us as one more of a number of businesses that are legitimate members of the business community of the state of Colorado. If we come back to the legislature next year, we have the credibility to say, look, we followed all the rules that you've given us. We played an active part in the rulemaking process to define and make sure that we were modifying our businesses to be 100% compliant. Now here's some of the things that you left off last year. And that's what's now available to us each and every single year going forward. Colorado has a medical marijuana industry and a group